we always need the contribution of the Commission, not only in terms of resources and funding, but actual input here. So we would like to welcome Achille to join us. Thank you, Achille, for being here. We know it's a very busy period for DG Energy. Thanks for coming.
Sorry, I need 1 minute because it gave me a security advice for you.
Okay. I didn't upload any virus.
No problem. It's here. Yes, I have it. Sorry for this inconvenience. And it should be... Yes,
Yes.
it's there.
Thank you. So a real pleasure to be here. Really my apologies for being a little bit late. I missed the days that I could sit in the audience and just see everything that is being created under these Horizon projects, because it's really fascinating and of course informative for us as policymakers as well. Thank God you have some very good reports on your website as well that I can tap into for further information. Now, I always like this event because I very much like the name. Not only the content that it's delivering on, the renaissance, the rebirth of the energy system, in a sense that we are moving towards a decentralized one, where everything is more digitalized, decarbonized, but also where citizens have an opportunity to participate and take control of their energy production. And Renaissance, of course, delivers a valuable contribution to these objectives by experimenting with digital tools that allow for the monitoring of assets, but also the forecasting of system needs, market needs, so that these decentralized structures also interact with the wider system and can contribute to a cost-effective energy transition without an unnecessary duplication of renewable energy assets and, of course, unnecessary investments in grid expansion. Now, to get to why I'm here, I was asked to give you a bit of a hint of what is going on at EU level in terms of policy for these energy communities. I will not bore you with a repetition of the clean energy package, because by now we all heard it a couple of times, I assume. So I'll focus instead on Repower EU. So the role of citizens and communities there. There's three objectives with Repower EU in the current context, where we are faced with extremely high prices at wholesale market level because we have issues finding supply sources. Of course, this is linked to one of our main suppliers being in direct conflict with a neighboring state that, let's say, doesn't align fully with our policy objectives and our ethical values as a society within Europe. Now, the first objective is diversify, of course, supply sources. Talking to other countries, this has mainly an international dimension, hence I don't highlight it here that much. It's not that relevant for this discussion today. Now, there's two others, producing clean energy and saving energy. Now, these energy communities, they can, we all know, increase the public acceptance, mobilize private capital investments, and hence they can start helping to increase the energy autonomy within the European Union by producing this clean energy. They can help save energy by providing energy efficiency services to their members. Sometimes they also operate as one-stop shops, operating within the local neighborhood and providing services to just customers, not necessarily members. Also, there is research that is indicating that being a member of an energy community could also correlate with an increased understanding of energy, which then subsequently, of course, leads to energy efficient behavior if the appropriate tools are provided to interact with the market signals, of course. Then last but not least, this is not something that is so explicitly in Repower EU, but something that the Commission is very much aware of, is that self-consumption schemes may help to secure access to affordable energy. And of course, this is one of the business models that energy communities can engage with. What we have to be careful about, this is, we are currently in a crisis mode, high prices. It might perpetuate for the next 1, 2, 3 years. We don't know, actually. And then there is this impulse to really focus on this self-consumption, making sure that locally produced energy is balanced with local consumption. However, we should be mindful to not put overemphasis on that, and that we always ensure that we know what we are moving towards, which is an integrated way of doing self-consumption. Only self-consumption when it's beneficial for the wider market and system. Now, this is a drawing to kind of give you an idea of how we see this balance between production and consumption and how energy communities can help in this regard. And it's mostly related to energy sharing, which is a form of self-consumption, applying a distribution key to the production assets owned by the community, and then making sure that within a certain time frame this is consumed. Mostly this is, of course, related to the time interval of measurement of the smart metering devices in place, which is a prerequisite and really a necessity today that this is being rolled out as quickly as possible. And of course, by maintaining this balance, you can avoid going through the external, let's say the wholesale market, the power exchanges, where these high energy prices are coming from. Now, the Repower EU communication, so there's some repetition here with the clean energy package because we cannot move, let's say, across it. We cannot ignore it, let's say it like that. Member states have not transposed the electricity market directive fully. Now, to some extent, this is understandable because there's such a vast amount of novel concepts in there. And not all markets in the European Union are simultaneously progressing in the same way. Not all have the same uptake in terms of renewables. Not all have the same capacity issues with their network. Hence, flexibility markets, decentralized production, self-consumption are things of the future still there. Nevertheless, we ask member states to start implement it now, this electricity market directive, in order to allow for these energy communities to start emerging and engaging in these business models. Now, just a brief reminder, clean energy package, we have the renewable energy communities, the citizen energy communities. I read a paper of Renaissance as well, primarily focusing on the renewable energy communities. I guess because your pilots are mainly local energy communities, it's a logical conclusion indeed. And it brings you actually to the differentiation between both entities, right? You have the communities of interest, doesn't really matter where you're located. It can be anywhere and you can be in effective control of the energy community. Now, this is something that is, let's say, a transition stage, right? You have a local energy community, you start to professionalize, you start to engage also in the wider supply across the country, and then you can move over to a citizen energy community. So we see it at DG Ener as a transitionary model. You could see it as such even. Active customer, renewable energy community, citizen energy community. That's the natural part of evolution, if you like. Of course, there it's always key that it's a clear, that it's a social concept at all times. So these energy communities, they make a profit, yes, but what they do with this profit is different. They think about what the needs are of their community members. And hence the tools that we just saw earlier, although I picked up only a few pieces of information, I think are quite valuable to know what those needs are, so you know how to progress subsequently with distributing these profits and ensuring that distributive justice, as it is perceived by the individual members, is maintained. Now, enabling framework. I'm not going to go too much into it. We all know the renewable energy communities, they're local, more strict governance, more strict participation criteria, and hence they get a bit more privileges in the EU frameworks. Now, the key Repower EU policy instruments that we need to be aware of. So we have the EU Safe Energy Communication. So here we have information campaigns that the Commission will launch as well. Towards citizens and consumers to make them aware how they can save energy, how they can make how they can take easy energy efficiency measures in their homes in order to also prep for the winter that is coming. We have the EU solar strategy, where we want to increase capacity to 600 gigawatt by 2030. And here we have several provisions for the prosumers and the energy communities as well. Well, provisions, more recommendations, communications to the member states, which I will get back to later. The electricity market design, I think you're all aware that this is happening now. So the Commission has the mandate to revise the electricity market directive, rethink the electricity market design, something that we are currently doing. If you're sitting on a piece of information that you think, well, this is something that the Commission should be aware of in order to ensure that this market design delivers on the benefits that it envisions, which is access to affordable energy and decoupling electricity from gas, please reach out to me and make me aware. It's really everyone on board currently, as we all understand, I think. So what we want there primarily as an objective in the communication about the electricity market design is to accelerate the energy transition through the promotion of flexible self-consumption. I already said what flexible self-consumption is. There's a lot. We should actually be talking about flexibility, not self-consumption. But self-consumption is here to stay, so let's call it flexible self-consumption then. Biomethane action plan. Here we want to increase BCM of gas imports. Well, decrease actually the gas imports by 17 BCM by producing that amount internally. Biomethane is here the main energy source to go with. Of course, we already have quite significant amount of biogas installations. So there is the easy step forward is to start upgrading that biogas and injecting it in the gas network. We also see a goal, an added value here for the energy communities, primarily by bringing together citizens in cities and farmers in rural areas. Ensuring that we have cohesion, not only across the borders, but also within, so that we don't leave rural areas behind and we provide them also with an opportunity to have additional sources of income. And then last but not least, the permitting recommendations. So we all know it's a huge barrier. Everything is rigorous, bureaucratic, and very complex because it has been originally also designed for large utility companies that have a lot of in-house expertise. So from the Commission side, we said, okay, simplify and ease permit granting, grid connection and production licensing procedures. And we also included a new article in the Renewable Energy Directive, specifically tackling this, identifying go-to areas and giving a time limitation for you to receive a permit, any type of permit to engage in your activities. If you're in a go-to area, that's 14 days. That's our current proposal, by the way. The EU objectives and actions. So we see the Energy Communities Facility will be coming out in 2024. So we will be providing cascade funding for energy community initiatives to pay for brains, not bricks. So that means if you need consultancy services, legal advice to set up your entity, engage on the market, you can get a lump sum of 60,000 euros approximately to pay for those services. One energy community per municipality with a population higher than 10,000 by 2025. Super ambitious objective, as we all know, but okay, sometimes policy objectives can also give that additional push and that steer and that orientation to where we have to be moving. So it's really an encouragement to the member states to take this serious and to also try to implement it, of course, in a careful way as well, so that we don't create new utility-driven communities. And then mandatory installation of rooftop solar energy for all public buildings. There is an important hook here for the energy communities in urban areas, of course, through public procurement. Other actions, I will not go too much. I already said it, more or less permitting recommendations, the RED 3, the biomethane action plan, mobilize energy communities. We have the Rural Energy Community Advisory Hub, and we will be pushing for bringing down the cost of small-scale biogas technology, production and upgrading technology through Horizon. Here are some actions that we have under the solar strategy. So again, simplifying, easing permit granting, integrated one-stop shops. This is really the thing of the future, where we have energy efficiency and renewable energy production advice to projects on the local level or at the national level, as we already see emerging in some cities and at the national level in Ireland, for example. We have flexibility in the state aid guidelines now. I'm not saying that feed-in tariffs are the thing of the future. It's not. We will be having more and more capacity constraints as distributed energy sources integrate into the network. So just a blind injection in return for remuneration is not part of the future. However, member states might still decide to install these feed-in tariffs or premium tariff schemes. And in that case, they need to take into account the specificity of energy communities and provide flexibility in a sense that they can have separate auction procedures or they can have eased participation requirements to the auctions. Lack of time and technical expertise. Again, one-stop shops are key. Difficulties developing sustainable business models. Well, that's why you're here. That's why this project is so important. Let's make sure that these business models can develop, and for that we also need to look at price signals. Dynamic pricing contracts, but also time differentiated network tariffs, nodal pricing, etc. are all key enablers, let's say, to making these business models also happen and emerge. Of course, that is taken into account a normal context without skyrocketing energy prices. For the prosumers, there's a couple of stuff there as well. I won't go into that because I have the impression that I'm already over time and blabbering too much. But you will be made available, I think, the PowerPoint presentation, so it's for you to have a careful look afterwards. And if you have questions, you can ask them at the next event we encounter each other. So that's it. Keep in touch. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Achille. Of course, we hope to meet you again in more events about energy communities, because we want to make more research and find out more. Okay, so we are going through this is you can consider it a break, but it's not actually a real break, because I still need you to work together, but we would like to give you the opportunity to have an interactive session. So this is an opportunity for you all to talk with the pilot site leaders and with replication sites team. So I'm asking now, all of you, not now, just let me finish, to stand up. You can go to the different posters that are hang over there. You have 4 European pilot site posters, and then there are 3 replication site posters on which we have more than one on each. And the people who were responsible for these pilot sites, I kindly ask you then to be in the vicinities of your own posters so that the other people, so the participants, all of you, can be there and ask questions. Why should you ask questions? Because there is a table with stickers. You can take one line of stickers, and on each line you will have a mouse, a bear, an eagle, and a cicada. For each of that, it's a session that is more or less as dot voting. Who did dot voting before in your life? No one? Okay. yeah. Well, dot voting means that you put a dot to vote if something is nice for you or not. So in this case, it's not actually rating something with yes or no, but you will have to put it like it's a qualitative voting. So the mouse will be, you will put it on, you can stick it on without covering letters, please. So below, around, but on the poster where the logos of the partners are, for example. You will put the mouse on the poster that you think had or can have, but you have to speak with pilot site responsible person to know that might have the highest impact on community engagement and collective benefit. Then you will put the bear on that you find most has the highest potential for self-consumption and energy resilience. The eagle will go to the pilot or replication site, which, in your opinion, is the one that gives best grid balance or smart innovation, that introduces the best way to manage the grid, let's say. And then for the cicada, since you're a very large entrepreneur, you want to be very, very environmentally sustainable. So you will put the cicada on the poster that has the highest environmental sustainability towards zero emission. This is all in your opinion. This is not something that has to go in any reports. It's not real numbers, but we really want to know what you find out about the different sites that we have visited. So this is also an opportunity for you to talk to the people who worked there for all these years. So thank you. This will last
Until 12:30.
15 minutes. So you can go there, and then when time is over, I will just let you know. It's not a challenge. It's something you don't win anything. We only exchange ideas, but then we will have your feedback on the pilot site and replication site work that we've done. Thank you very much. Also take a chance to get a coffee if you want. No, it's not there. No, sorry. A glass of water.